Hello and welcome to the Success Showcase. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin from the Modern Observer Group. And with me, as always, is Chip Janiszewski from the Happiness and Success GPS. Chip, how you doing this week?
Doing great. How you doing, Eric?
I'm doing fantastic.
We're in the middle of a very rainy July here. Crazy stuff.
We are we are, but we really did need it. We were almost in a drought prior to that, so the rain is welcome.
Absolutely. And I'd rather have the liquid this time of year because rain BS. It beats snow.
Yes, you don't have to shovel rain.
That's
That's
right.
one of the good things about it.
That's right.
So, on previous podcasts, we've talked a lot about the value of Audible and what a great resource it is for education, correct?
Absolutely. It's been my,
Well,
my my car's name has been driver's ed, with that being the highlight star for many, many years.
well, I am happy to announce that Audible has just gotten more valuable because now Success Showcase and the rest of the Xvadio podcast network is all available through Audible.
Wow. That's I can listen to myself in the car. I don't know if I want to do that.
So yes, it's just one more. We are now on every major podcast platform. So we're even easier to find than ever before.
That's awesome.
So today we've got a very special guest. When I met Deanna at first, she was selling ad space for a local newspaper. And over the years, she has started her own business. She is now president of the local chamber in Newington, Connecticut. So, Deanna, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here with both of you guys. Yes, I've known you both a long time from my roots.
It's it is so wonderful to have you here. Yeah, I remember the first time I went to a Newington Chamber meeting and met you. Carmen's Closet was still in your mind developing, and you were saying it's going to be opening and so on and so forth. And obviously, we've done a lot with that over the last few years. And to see you where you are right now, it's just great. It's so great to have you here.
Thank you so much. Yes, it's November is going to be 9 years, if you guys could believe it. So, Eric,
No,
we've
Oh
known
my
each
goodness.
other at least a decade.
At,
And
at least, yes.
yes, yes. And yeah, I started, I met you when I was just selling advertising exactly for a local newspaper, and then meeting all these wonderful, successful, driven people, woke that up a little bit inside of me. And I was able to figure out what I wanted to do in the middle of all of that. And Karma's Closet was born. And here we are.
So, tell our listeners a little bit about what Karma's Closet is and how did you come up with the idea? What made you say this is what you wanted to do?
Great question. So definitely started thinking about having my own business when I started networking more in Newington and West Hartford, and meeting other wonderful business people and seeing, either they had a shop or they had a service, and how excited they were about it. And I wanted to have something I was excited about. And just from being in the area and seeing other towns having great success with consignment and consignment stores, I noticed that my hometown of Newington did not have one. So I started kind of seeing how other consignment stores were run, and seeing what we could do for Newington, what would be the best, demographics and what to carry. And so Karma's Closet opened up with just men's and women's clothing, accessories, like purses and jewelry, some home decor items, and furniture. And over the last 9 years, probably about halfway through, so I'd say about 4.5 years ago, I started carrying children's clothing, shoes, and books as well. And probably only a couple years in, I started noticing how many local crafters and creative people that we had that made things. And so for probably about 7 years now, I've been renting shelf space to local crafters and vendors as well. And then in this last year, that just exploded. You know, people being home in the pandemic, being able to think about what they wanted to do with their time. And now I have more shelves rented than ever with these talented people that discovered, you know, what they were able to create in the last year. So it's really grown in and of itself. And then now, my big thing is doing Thursday night live sales on Facebook. We started that a year ago, last July, in the pandemic, and it really gave people something to look forward to, something for me to look forward to, and really saved my business and greatly improved my business. So thank you.
So how does the Thursday night sales, how does that work?
So on my Facebook, you know, it took me a second to figure out if I wanted to do it on Facebook or Instagram, right? We have all these choices now with social media. And I just have more followers on Facebook. So that was kind of an easy decision. So on Facebook, we go live at 7 o'clock Thursday night. And, you know, we put out a certain set of rules we have to have with everyone. You do have to buy any of the items that you're going to get on the live. You know, you can't say that you're going to buy it and then you come in and you don't want it when someone else could have taken it. You have to pick it up within a week. And so basically I just come on. It's kind of like a QVC kind of thing. You know, it's me and my little ring light, and I show about maybe between 60 and 100 items in a 2-hour period. I put up a number for all of them, so it's nice and easy for people to just write sold and the number that is associated with the item. Sometimes we have, you know, a few people that want it, but it's got to be the first person that comes up on my screen that gets to keep the item that day. And it's created quite this little community. These ladies have started to know each other and even talk to each other on live. I introduce them to each other when they come in the store at the same time. They want to have walking groups and art nights and all these things. So it's really leading into a lot of other things for me, which is really cool too.
That's amazing, because it's not just that you pivoted to deal with COVID. You've actually created another line of revenue for yourself, and you're building a community.
Yes. And it's given me more than I thought it would. You know, I thought it would just help my business get through, you know, this crazy time. And it really helped me, Deanna, get through this crazy time, you know, having these people that clearly were supporting me in my small business, you know, and then having a week where maybe I didn't do the live and seeing the big difference. So it's been really great. I'll tell you guys this one part for Valentine's Day this past year was still really tough, right? It was really cold. We had a crappy winter. You know, nobody was really vaccinated yet. And I said, who wants to do like a Galentine's? And you guys can drop off, you know, secret Valentines and I'll just swap them out for you guys. And they just had the cutest little cards made for each other and small gifts that were like less than $5, but you know, that meant something. And I just exchanged them for each other, and they never knew who gave it to them, but they knew it was someone else on the live. And you know, just these cute little things that we've been able to do from it have been really cool.
That's fantastic. It's an amazing way to build up community. Again, not just for your business, but you're connecting people. You know, we talk a lot about that on this show, is connecting people and the importance of relationships. And you helped people meet new people and let them grow their relationships, all while pivoting to help yourself.
Absolutely. And yeah, it did more for me in Karma's Closet than I ever could have imagined. And then it's also been great to help support the Newington Chamber. You know, I have this audience once a week of local people, so I'm able to tell them what the chamber has going on. If any of my fellow chamber members and business people have events coming up, we talk about that. We did a drive-in September and then again in May, and it was heavily supported by a lot of the ladies that watched the live, and then even the women's group, the GFWC, who's a great part of the Newington Chamber, they just had a ice cream pie fundraiser, and I'm able to promote those kinds of things on there and get the word out. So it's created this whole other platform for local events and community. So yeah.
And it's not just local events. I mean, as you just said, the ice cream pie fundraiser went to benefit a nonprofit, so you're helping nonprofit organizations as well.
Yes, it's been really cool.
Yeah, and you've, ever since we started getting together, you've always been very much into the relationships and leveraging that, not only by just saying stop by the store sometime or whatever, but you've always been very proactive in planning events, telling people to use your space if they want to, promote something there. You had your wine tastings on Saturdays and a lot of other things going. So you've developed quite a following there and really just quite a reputation for bringing people together in a lot of ways, and obviously culminating with being president of the chamber. That doesn't hurt either, but you've been amazing in just doing that to get the word out about Karma's and really just do a whole lot of good for a lot of people, getting them together, and also for the community, because Erica's talking about. So kudos to you, and it's a great strategy.
Thank you, Chip. I can't wait to bring the wine back. Yes, every Saturday at Karma's was always Chip and Shop Saturday with wine and a different vendor every time. And with the good weather, I've been able to have vendors set up outside. I had a jewelry lady out there last week, and we had a craft fair a couple weeks ago. So I had about 15 of my local crafters set up outside. I think events are just such a great way. A store is always open, right? Like you see the hours on the door, when you can come in and not come in. But when someone puts on an event and purposely is rolling out the red carpet for you and saying, come and enjoy and hang out, I think that's just, a big friendly welcome. So I love to do things like that.
So we've mentioned a couple times that you're now president of the Newington Chamber. How did that come about?
Oh, how did that come about? So I joined the chamber when I was selling advertising for the local newspaper. They were a member, and I would go in and talk to the executive director, Gail, at the time, and say, how do I get these guys to advertise? And she'd say, well, come to our weekly networking meetings, and we have a women's group. And she really just, told me what the chamber was and explained it to me. And realizing that it's basically the business community in the area. So for Newington, that's the Newington Chamber of Commerce. And, it was just really great to then meet these people all in one place where they're going to network, and not, just having to bother them individually. And that really worked out for me. And then in creating my own business, I was able to go back to these same people who have been in this area and say, where's the best place for my business? How did you do this? Where'd you get your sign? Who should I go and talk to next? I actually have a location that one of our mutual friends, David Johnson over at Geico, free plug, was actually occupying for years. And so I was able to talk to him about, how are the landlords? Is it a good spot? What about the other businesses that are in the area? Do they help? Do they hurt? Things like that. And so, then opening up my business and coming on the board, getting involved and wanting to, have a presence and a part in that. Also being a smaller business, you can't really, right when you start off, it's kind of scary to write sponsorship checks and things like that. So the time that I've been able to donate to the chamber versus always, writing a check for a small business, that's where I kind of thought, well, I can donate my time and put myself out there more so than money right now. So So that's kind of what I've been doing the last, kind of almost 10 years, I think. And then getting involved, saying, now I want to be the secretary, and what does that entail, and just kind of working your way through the board. And then my presidency has been COVID. I became the president last June, a month into COVID, and our challenge was completely different than I ever thought it would have been for me as a president. We had to kind of look at what the businesses need now. How can we support them now? And thank goodness we, had been building up our social media the last, I'd say really like 5 years. We had really kind of focused on it. And our social media and Facebook and Instagram had been so strong. We were able to create videos and, keep the businesses' names out there and make sure people knew what they were all going through and how they can help. And we sold T-shirts that said Newington Strong on them, and half the proceeds people could actually select which small business they wanted to donate it to. And just doing those videos, it didn't cost them any extra money. It was part of their membership. So we wanted to give them, some visibility during such a weird, awkward time. And at the same time, I think people were, in the pandemic, a lot of people, right, stuck home, and looking for that content and looking for how to help. So we were trying to answer all of those questions, and I think we did a really great job of keeping everyone in people's vision, as well as looking to support for when we were going to open. So that was a big deal. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and supporting all the businesses that went along with each of those. So yeah, now I'm in my second year of presidency, and we're kind of getting back to normal. So we're kind of looking to do bigger things. We're doing a golf tournament for the first time. Hopefully getting back to our comedy night, which is always so popular. So the Newington Chamber has given me visibility and purpose, at the same time of helping other businesses too. So it's been really great. We started a young professionals group this year. They've been bugging me for a while, and before I aged out, I was like, all right, guys, no problem. So we tried to do that in October and realized it was a little too soon with COVID. So we're getting together next week at the extravaganza, the Friday night before the extravaganza, for the first time, and hopefully, bringing some more young professional events to the forefront now that things are opening up. So, yeah, I think that's kind of the story.
You were involved in pivoting not just your business, but the chamber as well. Like most chambers, we've spoken to a number of them. Over the course of COVID, they lost a lot of their fundraising capabilities because chambers tend to rely on live events. And you guys came up with some very innovative ideas, not limited to, but including a drive-in movie.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, the drive-in. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna give Kristen Vaca some credit for that. The Flash Lady Photography. She said, you guys, a drive-in could be pretty cool. And oh my gosh, we worked months on that, trying to figure out where it would be, how would how do you do a drive-in? How does that happen? And we found a local guy who, his business was originally conventions and weddings, and he flipped his business into drive-in movies because he already had some of the lighting and equipment. So he just bought a big screen. So we were able to find him through another chamber member, and go to work on that. So we were able to show the new Aladdin, and then we just showed the movie Sing, which was so fantastic. And in the winter, I think it was March, we did a virtual bingo event that was really fun. We had about 96 bingo cards sold, and we played online. This husband and wife team host these bingo nights, and that was so great. It was so nice to see a lot of my live people, right, to bring it back. A lot of my live people ended up playing, and we were all on Zoom so we could see each other, which was really cool. And yeah, we hope, and some of these things we hope to keep doing them, because we never used to be able to do events in the winter because you never know if the snow is going to ruin everything. So to do another virtual bingo is definitely in the plans for this coming year. And we always had a silent auction wine tasting chocolate challenge that we knew we just couldn't do in the pandemic, and that was a huge, that was like our huge one big event, and so we had to break into these other smaller things, but we knew we didn't want to just do some boring buy this gift card and get this kind of thing. We wanted to make something fun and give people something to do, because there was nothing else going on for anyone else either. So in September, that was like one of the first events that people came out to, and we were able to do outside all together, which was really cool. So yeah, that's been fantastic for us. And then also in the pandemic, our one of our executive directors decided to go back into retirement, and we hired another great executive director. Leslie has been with us since, I believe she started either March 1st or April 1st. I can't remember. But she's been fantastic and supportive. And so yeah, we had to keep all of this going, and it kind of made us look at other things too, like, do we really need an office in the future? How can the chamber move forward in the new world, so to say, right?
Yeah, you had a lot of challenges over the last year.
Yeah. Yeah, we did, but I think we're such a good core group. We really worked on building a active board the last few years, so we knew that we had the right people in place already, and everyone just came together and made it happen. So it doesn't all it takes a village, right?
No, it certainly does. And, obviously we met each other through networking. The key to successful networking is developing credibility, trusting relationships, and so on and so forth. And you talked about starting your business and not being able to donate, but the most important thing you can do is exactly what you have done, and that's just get involved, donate your time, be there, because when you're doing that for something besides yourself, and that's instant credibility with whoever you're working with. And obviously, what you've done too is started a movement, because the bottom line is involvement, especially positive involvement, like you're doing. It's contagious. It's it's more powerful than any negative virus that's out there. And obviously, that's probably been part of the joy that you've gone through in dealing with this. Really, a silver lining in the cloud that probably wouldn't have happened as much as it has, because we're going through this whole thing. So kudos to you, and kudos to all the great things that are going on in Newington.
Thank you so much, Chip. It's so infectious. It really is. And I can't not mention Tiffany Hamgovea. In basically, when you were talking, I was picturing Tiffany's face on Zoom, because when we were shut down and making those videos, by the way, Tiffany is the social media director for the chamber. She does all of our social media, as well as now she is on the board. I'm happy to announce she's taken the Geico seat from David Johnson.
For our listeners, you can go back several weeks, because Tiffany was a guest on this podcast, so you can listen to Tiffany talk a few weeks back.
Perfect. And Tiffany and I would just text and talk almost every day, and one, about how crazy everything was that was going on, but two, how can we help and support the businesses and make social media work for all of us. And she was just like my little co-pilot in all of that. So yeah, I just can't not mention that, because she definitely got me through. The positivity, keeping it in focus and in line. It's the GPS, right, Chip? I mean,
what's that again? No, I approve that message.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that strikes me about all of the different things you've been doing is that it's all about community, it's collaboration, it's cooperation. It's all about, you've been going out, you've been getting information from different people, you've been helping different people, bringing people together, and it's all about that, getting that group of people together.
It really is. No one can do almost anything on their own. Let's just be honest. It's about having that support system. And, I'm a single business owner by myself at Karma's Closet, but I feel like the chamber and all my friends that do all of these things and support each other, we are coworkers, we are co-pilots in all of it. And I know myself and Karma's Closet wouldn't be there without most, if not all of them, including both of you guys. It's a whole support thing, and going to those meetings every week. Even if you didn't want to have to get up and drive there for 7 a.m. or now, open your eyes and open the computer for 7:30, it just helps. It just does. Seeing other people that are excited about something makes you want to get excited about something too. And I'm just glad that 9 years ago I was able to figure out what that was for me. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Well, we're just about out of time. So for our listeners who are interested, one, how can they see your Facebook live sales, and how can they go to Karma's Closet? Tell them where it is.
Great question. Karma's Closet is located at 3153 Berlin Turnpike in Newington, and that's nice and easy right across the street from Walmart. I'm in the McBride Carpet Plaza with Munson's Chocolate. I'm on the left side of that building facing the Sunoco gas station. And you can find me on Facebook at Karma's Closet CT. And all you have to do is like the page, and you can even, I don't think it's called a subscription on Facebook, but you can click to get notified.
Yeah, it's called follow.
We post something. Thank you. If you follow, thank you. You can get notified for when we go live, which is Thursday nights at 7:00 right on Facebook.
Fantastic. So Chip, what do you think is the big takeaway from this episode?
Well, Deanna, you brought up my GPS, happiness and success GPS thing. And basically what I talk about is the power of positivity, turning obstacles into opportunities. I'm reminded of one of my favorite comedian groups, Monty Python's Flying Circus, and the song, Always Look on the Bright Side of Life. And basically what that, or obstacles to opportunities, are all about are turning all of your buts, which are your reservations about things, into and, which is just collaborative movement towards things. And that's exactly what you've done to do your business, to do what you're doing in the chamber, and to really be an example for everybody else. So just keep it up. It's just great to be with you today.
Right back at you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, for me, I think the big takeaway is not just the power of positivity, but the power of people. Yeah. You did so much by creating community, by helping your community, by reaching out. That's really what it's all about. And you've shown just how a business can succeed by helping others and working with others. I think it's a great lesson for our listeners to have.
Oh, that means so much. Thank you so much, Eric. That's so nice. Thank you.
And thank you for being on.
Of course. Thank you guys for having me.
You've been listening to the Success Showcase. You can catch us every week at xvadio.com/podcasts. You can also find us on the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Audible, and wherever you find podcasts. Remember, make this your best week ever and make next week even better. We'll see you then.